Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is just going to be me talking about being on YouTube for 18 months. In my life I've always been creative. I've always liked to do things. I've always liked to make things or record things or write things music wise. So for me this was a kind of natural progression. I remember seeing other channels doing this long ago, and I thought that myself, that's something that I could do because I've got some movies and I like to talk about movies. And of course, as I've said many times, when you're out and about and you're doing stuff and then you're talking to people about what you've picked up, nobody's got the blind bit of interest when you start talking about some obscure horror movies that that you think is going to be the best thing that's ever on the face of the earth, and nobody could care less. So on here, the best thing about here to start off is to sort of, you can pick a movie out, any movie out of there, you can talk about it. And there's always someone out there who would like to sort of add to that, or listen to what you've got to say, or interact and say, look, there's a better version of that down the road, or you can go to this place to get an alternative version of it. Did you know that one was cut? Did you know it was uncut? You get all this wealth of knowledge coming back to you. So I've said this many times, if anybody's on the fence about starting a channel, just go ahead and do it. It's quite easy to do if I'm honest. It's not if it's hard, I wouldn't be doing it, put it that way. And as you can see, I don't put many effects on my videos. I don't have many things that need requiring some crazy editing. Mine's quite, I put this on and maybe I interject some other things with music and a couple of other videos that I've shot, but apart from that it's pretty straightforward. And I would imagine this is the way it's going to continue, because to be honest, when you do a channel, you've got to make sure that you're not sort of encroaching on your life. So for me, if you had a channel that took over your life, the life channel balance needs to be balanced. I know that if I went and done more on my channels and spent more time editing and also made more videos a week, it would mean that it would encroach on my life. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I would want to do. You've got work, obviously, and then you've got your spare time, and then you've also got time you spend on YouTube. So for me, you've got to balance them up. And if you don't balance them up correctly, I think that this can become something that's not fun. And what you've got to remember at the end of the day, this has just got to be fun. If you have fun doing it, great. I mean, imagine that you're doing something that you think is brilliant and you're having fun at the same time. Well, that's it cracked, isn't it? So I'm very happy that my work life, spare time, YouTube life is on a very even keel, and that's the way I like to keep it, because this is great. I love doing this, but I also like doing other stuff. And the fact is that if you just sort of continued doing this as nothing else, you might become a little bit fixated with it. You might become a little bit sort of drawn into the world of it, because you could get it could be addictive. You could be thinking, oh, if I just done this other video, this other video, this other video. But if you think about it, this YouTube journey is it's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't have to do everything in the first week. You can take your time. I mean, I've just only recently started putting things on, like a little bit of music on the videos and a little bit of out and about and getting things off the shelves in HMV. And that's come 18 months after I first started my channel. I did want to do that at the start, but I'm glad I didn't, actually, because this channel has just seemed to grow organically. It is what it is. It will become what it will become. If it stays like this forever, that's okay. If it gets a bit more fancy in the future, that's okay. If I can manage to do that. If I can't manage to do that, then that'll not happen. So that's a little bit of a thing about if you are starting to want to start a channel. Just think about one of the important things you need to do is going to try not to get it taken over your life and becoming like a bit of an obsession with you, because you can have this channel and it can do what it does, and you can have it as a sort of side project, and it cannot sort of take over your life. So that's my thoughts on a channel in general. So I think it's also important to have a bit of time off from YouTube. Now, personally, I don't take holidays from YouTube, but I do have the weekend off. I will sort of make sure that I don't really put a video out on the weekend or do live streams or have anything to do with YouTube really in the way of videos, because that's sometime when I can just like chill out and not really think too much about YouTube, because sometimes, especially in the early days, you do get kind of fixated on a few things. You do sort of think, what's my next video going to be? I've got a list of videos that I've got on my phone of what I want to do, so I've got plenty to draw from. So if I ever run out of ideas, I just go to the phone and pick one out of there. So I'll never be short of an idea. And also people do give me ideas on comments and say, can you do this, can you do that? And they are put into the phone, and they will get done. It's a funny thing when you say, oh yes, I'll do that next week, and then the next week there's like 5,000 things come out and you do want to talk about them because it's kind of important to you, to like video nasties, etc. So I'll say, oh well, I'll do that now, and I'll get back to that one. So everyone's sort of, these things are in a line to do, and it's funny how this line turns out sometimes. Sometimes you've got a plan to do 3 videos on the week, and they turn out to be 3 completely different videos on the week, because like I say, you never know what's going to go. But then again, if you did make them 3 videos, you did have time to make the 3 videos, and they didn't get used, then you've got stuff for the week after. So it's all good. You can still always rework the stuff that you want to talk about into another video. I never think of these videos as being ones where I've done it and I think, oh, there's no way I can do that. I know you can put that out, or that'll do for a different. I mean, this video I'm doing now, I'm recording it on the 28th of February, but I don't know when it's going to come out. So, but it's going to be a sort of thing to sort of talk about, like obviously my sort of experiences on YouTube, and I can tell you that predominantly the experience I've had have been really positive. And I think that's a thing that you've got to remember. If you're positive on here, then that's half the bother. Don't concentrate on negatives. Just have a positive outlook. I've got a very positive outlook. I'm here for fun and fun only. I'm here to meet friends. I'm here to meet people that are like-minded people. So another thing that's happened is when I've been on YouTube is the fact of it's a big confidence builder. Now I would say that especially talking to people, like a sort of, if I was talking to 2,000 people here, I would be like, I couldn't speak. It's amazing to think that you've got that platform or that forum to say whatever you want to 2,000 people. Now, the strange thing about that is because I'm not really somebody who likes doing that in the real world, but on here it doesn't really matter. But as a consequence of doing this channel, it has made me a lot more confident when I'm talking to people, especially in work. I can say a lot more things to a lot more professional people than I could before. Now it makes me, and especially if I'm doing anything on a video chat, I can be very good on a video chat, where I was useless on a video chat before, very nervous. And even in training things, when I'm at training things, I can actually speak up for myself. In fact, we're going to do a training the other day, and I was going to actually get up and do a presentation, which I didn't want to do. So I didn't do it, but I did sort of rattle off the stuff from my seat, which is something I would never ever done. I would have handed it to somebody else in the thing and said, "Here, you have to read this out." So I think it's quite a good thing for myself to be able to sort of do that. It's like a progression in yourself to think that you're not as sort of introverted in a way as you were. You're a bit more outgoing, and you're a bit more able to be speaking and doing this, because when you first start off, it seems really odd to talk to yourself. I mean, I'm talking to myself now. I'm just looking at myself, and you kind of get a bit more. You get a bit self-conscious. You get a bit feels a bit strange. And the other day when Lisa and Emily were here, Lisa was sitting over there, and I wasn't bothered at all by doing this. But if I first started off, I couldn't have done it with anybody sitting there. So it just shows you that YouTube can actually have a bit of a confidence builder in your life that might be beneficial to you if you're somebody who hasn't got that much confidence in yourself, and you can use that to your benefit in the real world, and you can move on to a different sort of place when you're doing some stuff. When you're talking to professional people, and you can kind of speak up for yourself and speak up for people that you're working with, it's quite a good feeling actually, and I think you'd get taken a lot more notice of if you kind of know that you're somebody who will air your opinions instead of just sitting in a corner and trying not to be noticed. So I think that's a really good thing that's helped me. I didn't know that would help me. I didn't want to sort of think, oh, if I do this, this will happen. In fact, when I went to do this channel, I didn't know what would happen. But I can tell you that there's a lot of beneficial things happen to you on this channel. I think that there's a lot of real positives you can get from here, as opposed to just putting videos on and talking about your stuff. I think it can really help your life actually, and your outlook in life, and you can do things that you couldn't do before, which is a really great thing to have in your life, as opposed to just being the same with a YouTube channel. It makes you sort of it does change in a way, in a good way, to make that your confidence does build up, and you've got more things that you can do different things, which is all it's great as well. I mean, funny enough, me being in a band and I played gigs and that, I used to sit in the drums and put all the cymbals above my head so nobody could see us. So it's not as if I haven't been out I've never played a guitar in front of anybody, but it's a case of it's nowadays I think I could do a gig very easily, as opposed to being petrified when I used to do them in the 80s. So I think when you start a new project, you hope that that project's going to go well. I know when I was starting out making music and I could hardly play the drums, now I can quite play them quite well. And then I couldn't play guitar, so I taught myself to play guitar, kind of. And it's great. I mean, I can't sing. I'll never be able to sing, but that's just the way it goes. And it's great to sort of look back on your music and say, well, that was a good song, or this one could have been better. That one should have been faster or slower. And I think the same thing can be applied to YouTube. The fact is that you start something and you think, right, where's this going to go? Is it going to fall flat in its face? Is it going to work? Is it going to be something that anybody is going to be interested in? So the fact that it's kind of grown and it's keeping on growing, and I just like the fact that it is what it is. It'll be to where it is, whenever. So to me, to myself, my channel has been a success because, I mean, a success in that it's achieved what I wanted it to achieve. I wanted it to be one that people would look at. I wanted it to be one that I would be able to have things to talk about. I wanted to be one that I could probably show some music off. So I've sort of achieved that. So when I started this channel on the 1st of June 2020, I didn't really have any idea where it was going. I thought it would just be one of those ones where you put it on every now and again and maybe connect with a certain amount of people. And I think I've connected with a lot more people than I ever thought I would do. And I'm so appreciative of that because really, this is it's a great way to feel that you've succeeded in something. When you've put out, when you've done something and you've achieved what you need to achieve, say if you've made something and it worked out well and you think, right, I've achieved something there, it's a good feeling to have. So I feel like I get a good feeling from YouTube because I've achieved something on YouTube. And I do think that it's going to keep on going. I don't think that I'm done yet, and I do think that this is kind of, I always say this is like the start, and I do feel like it's like the start. I always feel like I'm kind of leading up to something else, and it's good to have a vision and not just think, hey, I've got this and then what am I going to do now? I don't think that I've got that feeling at all coming up, that I think that's right, I've got nothing to talk about, I've got nothing to do, nothing to say, nowhere to go. I think that this channel has started growing in its own way. And when I go out and about and I do film stuff in Whitley Bay, my hometown, and I do other things, this is just part of the process, and it will just eventually, these things will be in the videos, and that's just the way it is. It's just never sort of underestimate your channel. Don't think that it can only be a certain one thing. I do know that the movie side of it's just been the one that's took off, and it's the one that I'm kind of invested in. I've got other things to do with comics and going out, and music and vinyl. So it's all going to be in there. It's just a case of, like I say, if I could do it. I could do it next week. But I know that I would sort of have to sacrifice other things, doing things, going out, spend time with your family, work. I would have to sort of not concentrate on work and stuff like that. So it's that's another thing about the balance. This is all happening in this sort of time frame of what your life balance is, because if it didn't, then something would go wrong, and you would be kind of getting a bit anxious about making videos, or you would have to get to a point where you were struggling to think of content, or you were thinking about ditching it. So you don't give yourself too many headaches, because there's no reason to do that. If you take everything in your stride and just say, well, maybe next week I haven't got anything to put out, so I'll not put anything out. It's just that simple. That's and I think that people, when they watch your channel, they will wait around for your next video. They don't sort of say, oh, you haven't put a video for a day, I'm not gonna watch your stuff anymore. I do think that people have got to know that people, when they make videos, they don't really make them, like 15 a day and stuff like that, because it's very hard to do that. And sometimes it would take your sort of enjoyment away. For me, it would. If I made too many videos, I wouldn't enjoy it that much. And I always want to keep that balance going to make sure that this channel is something I firmly enjoy, and it never becomes a chore. Because maybe sometimes if you set yourself up to do a million things and you can't do them, you think, oh, I can't believe that I didn't get that done. There is a few things that I've done over the years, over the year and a half, and I think I've let that type of thing go, but it will come back. It's not as if it's been forgotten about or ditched, or other things come around, like video nasties seem to have taken over at the moment. That's just the way it's going. I didn't know that at the end of last year, when I saw a couple of videos coming out with band video nasties, I would never thought, oh well, this is where my channel's going. It just seems to have snowballed, and I'm all for it, because I really am interested in these collecting these video nasties, and it seems that other people are doing the same thing, or they have done the same thing. I've heard of a few people who've like literally finished the video nasties collection, which is absolutely like incredible to think, because they would have done it at a time when it was really hard to collect them. Some of these titles like Night of the Demon and Delirium were utterly like impossible to get a hold of. So they've done it the hard way. So I'm going to do it hopefully a little bit of the easier way, and one that you can kind of follow well yourselves. I think a lot of people who are getting these ones like Night of the Demon, Don't Go in the House, they are buying them titles as well. So that means we can share this together, and we can talk about it as well. Some people might say that was a great release. Some people would say there was another better one out there. So it's all fun, you know. It's all something that when you do this this sort of journey together. I'm calling it a journey, and it is quite like a journey. I mean, that sounds a bit like a cliche term, but the journey is somewhere where you go and you don't know where you're going, kind of. And I don't know where this is going, but I'm enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the fact of just being able to come on here, talk about anything like I'm talking about today, go on a live stream, and just talk to people, and people are kind of interested in what you've got to say. And I'm interested in watching live streams. I'm interested in what other people have to say. So it's a case of just enjoying the ride of YouTube. So this is me just talking for 30 minutes at this point. I don't know how much I'll get cut out of this. Just a bit about my sort of experience with YouTube so far. It's a funny video because I knew I was going to make it, but I didn't know which way it was going to go. I was just going to sit here and just talk and see what came out. So to recap, that if you're thinking about getting a channel, go ahead and do it. It's a great way to do things, especially if you've got something to talk about, whether it be anything, whatever you want to do, talk about it. And I'm sure there's a lot of channels out there that will help you through this process. If you've got any tips or you want anything to do it, just get in touch with your favourite channels if you've got any. The main thing is, at the end of the day, if you just enjoy it, that's what it's all about. I've enjoyed every part of this process, and I just think that long may it continue. I don't have any fears of what's coming. I think that there's just more of the same for me. If I can do this, you know, just every 3 videos a week for as long as I want to. That's it as well. If you want to do it, great. If you don't want to do it, that's fair enough. Don't feel like when you make a channel you have to do it. Maybe you can come back to it. Maybe you can just leave it dormant for a bit. I don't know. It's purely up yourself. Don't feel like you need to sort of copy anybody or try and there's no to me there's no guide. There's no like definitive thing to say you need to do this. All I can say, the only thing I can say is that you just need to have fun with it. You need to know that YouTube is there for you to do what you want to do. It's a tool that you can use to do these videos, and at no expense to yourself. So that's even better as well. It's not as if you've got to pay any money for this, apart from your little initial outlay, which you probably got in your house anyway. So it's not going to break the bank, and so why not? There's nothing stopping you in a way. The only thing stopping you is yourself, and that's how I felt. I put this off for a good year because I thought, well, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next week. And I thought, well, I haven't got this, I haven't got that. But you just go ahead, you just do it, and then that's the end of it. Hopefully you'll have a good time, and you'll get as much enjoyment out of it as I've got out of it. So I hope this has made sense. I've just waffled for half an hour. It might, when I'm trying to play it back and cut it up, it might sound like a load of garbage, and you might never see this this video. Maybe you might see this as an outtake on a clip on a video somewhere. But anyway, thanks for watching. You take care, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.